Hong Kong Direct is your weekly racing roundup with news, views, previews and reviews, basically all the happenings here in Hong Kong. Here's what's coming up on the show today. Oriental Watch Sha Tin Trophy. We'll look back on that, and Beauty Generation beaten, only third in the big race last Sunday, and we're weighing in with Vincent Ho, one of the men responsible for that upset with Rise High. Very warm welcome to the show. I'm Andy Lejeune, joined in the studio by HKD regular, and that is Graham Cunningham. Graham, on the back of a pretty dramatic week as far as racing is concerned. Amazing couple of weeks. Enable beaten, Stradivarius beaten, and the theme at Sha Tin last Sunday was another one bites the dust as Beauty Generation finally beaten. Question is, will we be singing We Are the Champions in December? We'll look at the facts and figures and break it all down in a few moments or so, but has it now sort of opened the gate a little bit more? The free entries for HKR closed at the start of this week, so with a few of the overseas looking in and thinking, well, maybe it might be worth the trip after all. Absolutely. They sniff an opportunity. When a champion gets beaten, the aura is bruised, people start to think, well, let's have a go. But when we break down last week's Oriental Watch Sha Tin Trophy, we might find plenty of reason to forgive Beauty Generation that defeat. All right, 6 weeks just over until HKIR, the big weekend, a second Sunday in December. Let's look back, though, on Oriental Watch Sha Tin Trophy Day. First, though, with Ed Sadler.
It was a day of surprises at Sha Tin on Sunday. Punters came to the races expecting to see another win from Beauty Generation, his 11th in a row. But that wasn't to be. The winning streak ends at 10 as he was upstaged by Casper Fownes' Rise High.
Rise High, White Cuckoo get past Beauty Generation and Car Ying Star, White Cuckoo and Rise High. What an incredible battle. It's Rise High going home best and Rise High from White Cuckoo.
Very happy. This horse, I've been saying it for a while. I think he's the next big thing in Hong Kong, and he's slowly starting to get there. He'll go to the 2000 in November, which I'm looking forward to. I think he'll be better suited by that trip. And he's summered really well, put on a nice bit of body weight. Yeah, he's, I'm looking forward to seeing him when he gets over the right trip, over 2000. So exciting times ahead.
Rise High's target of the Hong Kong International races will depend on his performance in next month's Jockey Club Cup, with both the Hong Kong Cup and Hong Kong Vase possible options for him. The Sha Tin Trophy marked the biggest win so far for Vincent Ho in his career, and was also the highlight of a treble on the day for the leading local jockey. As for the Master Miro, Beauty Generation, it was his first defeat since he finished 5th in the Group 2 Chairman's Trophy in April 2018, with his rider Zach Purton offering up this explanation for his performance.
Yeah, it's the same race last year where he nearly got beat, so it's a bogey race for him, and it's because they have so long off after the off-season, and he obviously runs so well first time out. He has to back up very quickly again after that. So the edge is just off him, and that I'm sure contributed to his performance, but he has a nice break between now and his next run, and let's not forget that last season he broke the track record at his 3rd run in, so I expect him to bounce back.
The road ahead is easier though for Hong Kong's champion, as he will have less weight to carry in his upcoming assignments, the Jockey Club Mile and Hong Kong Mile. Beauty Generation's recent dominance over 1600 metres played a key role in the result of the earlier feature on the program, the Premier Bowl. Danny Shum's seasoned bloom had chased the son of Road to Rock in vain on numerous occasions last season. This season, he's been rejuvenated as a sprinter, and on Sunday broke a 12-race losing streak when taking out the 1200 metre contest.
Full of Beauty hits the lead from Ratton. Coming late is Seasons Bloom and Wishful Thinker. Seasons Bloom goes boom!
We always think if we run on the 16, we again with Beauty Generation, we can't beat him. He's a super champion. But the horse is sound. He got a 1600 meters ability, but he dropped to the 12, a little bit downgrade. So he won, but he won very impressive this afternoon. Yeah.
Seasons Bloom will now head straight to the Hong Kong Sprint in December, where he could be joined by his stable companion, Regency Legend. Crowd favourite Pakistan Star added an element of intrigue to the Premier Bowl, in what was his first run over 1200 metres for more than 3 years, but he could only manage to finish 5th in his first run for this season.
Yeah, well, he's sort of he ranged up at the 300 like he's going to be right in the finish, but you know, Zach seemed to think he was just a little reluctant to go through with it. And I don't think the 1200 metres was any problem. Might put the blinkers back on him for his next start. Have to twig round something with him and just sort of get him to focus.
The next step on the road to the Longines Hong Kong International Races will be the running of the Sha Tin Ladies Purse on the 3rd of November, before a full dress rehearsal for the big day on the 17th of November, when the Jockey Club Cup, Mile and Sprint take place.
Yeah, Mr. Stunning, one of the last two as well. Great wrap up there from Ed. Before we get into Beauty Generation, Graham, I think we have to pay some compliments to Casper Fowles. What a tremendous job he's done with Rise High. It was a class act.
Yeah, I think Casper Fowles is a charismatic trainer. There aren't too many of those around. He knows his horses are for racing, and he's not scared to trumpet one when he thinks it's good. And this is before the public are fully aware of it. And he's been saying the same thing about Rise High for ages, and he was proved right in a massive way last weekend. So we have a new star on the block in Rise High. He was really good last weekend.
Yeah, you saw Casper there with the knockout blow as well, a couple of punches. Let's get into Beauty Generation though and just break the race down for you. From the start, he was drawn barrier 2, which you think for a front runner is a positive thing, but Zach knows that there's pace outside with Kaiying Star and Glorious Forever, so he plots a path towards the centre of the track.
Yeah, points to make here. We know that Beauty Generation doesn't have to lead to win, but I think we now can conclude that he does need freedom to roam, to really express himself. And this is a key moment in the race. Not one, not two, but 3 jockeys helped to lock him up in a tight pocket. Karis Teeton's on the leader, Kaiying Star. Derek Leung is on Glorious Forever, pulling hard. Right of picture, Yellow Jacket. Watch Alberto Sana, fairly, but by any means necessary. Yep. He does all in his power to make sure Zach Purton and Beauty Generation don't get freedom to express themselves. As a consequence, his head comes up briefly, he starts to pull hard, he wastes valuable energy.
So now he has got out on the turn, he's got into this rolling position, but crucially, it's normally before this point where he starts to pile the pressure on. It's from the sort of before the 800 metre mark, really.
Absolutely. We have a ton of data that tells you that Beauty Generation's asset, his main weapon, is maintaining high speed over lengthy distances, making horses feel the pinch a long way out. Because of that tepid second quarter, he couldn't do it. If I'd told you before this race, Andrew, that Beauty Generation would run his fastest ever 400 metres, faster than any of the 10 previous wins over a mile, you would have said there's not a horseman invented could beat him. Yeah. But what happened early on set the trap for him.
Yeah, you've certainly taken money off me with that stats. That's his fastest closing split over the 1600 metres. But Waikuku and Rise High with the weight advantage. We can't lose sight of that either. We're able to be quicker over the final section.
Absolutely. So let's ask the relevant questions. Is this a blip or is it something more serious for Beauty Generation? Time comes at you fast in Hong Kong. We all know that. When a champion's aura is bruised, it can go south. Abel Friend, when he won the Premier Bowl, he looked an unbeatable horse. He never won another race. I don't think we can say anything like that about Beauty Generation. What happened in the early stages of that race was really detrimental to his chances, and I think there's every reason to think he can bounce back. Rise High goes up to 2,000. That helps. He's going to be a lot better off at the weights with Waikuku, Southern Legend. Pakistan Star might re-enter the fray, but we know that the real Beauty Generation beats Southern Legend, beats Kaiying Star, and he beats Pakistan Star, and he beats them good looking.
All right, so 2 races, 1 race then into December. Just very quickly, Graham, we're thinking about HKIR, but there's a horse at Happy Valley on Wednesday night, put a serious marker down for the Derby as well.
Player del Puente, he was very smart, highly progressive in Ireland, and third time was the charm for him. He showed promise on his first 2 runs, but at Happy Valley on Wednesday night, he beat banging form horses. Happy Dragon, Not Usual Talent, and Helen Charisma had all been in great form at various points, and he thrashed them.
Yeah, he got 9 points for that win as well, so he's heading towards that triple figure rating that he'd need to be a potential winner of the Hong Kong Derby. Of course, that's in March, a fair way off. All right, still plenty more to come on the show. We'll be looking ahead very shortly to the feature race on the weekend. We're also weighing in with Vincent Ho, fresh off that 3-timer. He's the man of the moment. And Elusive States, he's back on the weekend on his favourite dirt surface as well. Good competitive race coming up. He'll have a number of last start winners to contend with, though, including buddies for John Moore. Welcome back to Hong Kong Direct. Next up for us, we're weighing in with man of the moment, Vincent Ho.
first of all, I need to thank Miss Amy Chan, who was my principal, and my ex-boss, Mr. Casper Founts, for sure. And along the way, there's a lot of people who helped me, like jockey, Mr. Mosse or Mr. Ryan Moore, who have always been helpful as well. I've ridden a few. Rise High is a good one.
Rise High, Waikuku, Get Past Beauty Generation, and Ka Star, Waikuku and Rise High. What an incredible battle. It's Rise High going home best and Rise High from Waikuku.
Ho Khan, Lucky 9, pretty good horses. I don't really celebrate for my winners. After the race, usually just have a nice proper meal, and that's about it. I'll sleep and work the next day. I'll probably say some F1 drivers and some top jockeys. For F1 drivers, I'll probably Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, got a tough mentality as well, and they're superb athletes. I use social media, but not that much. On Instagram, I'll sometimes use it. Outside of racing, to relax, I'll probably take my dog out sometimes, meditate a little bit. Yeah, that's about it. Short-term goal, I would say try to get on good horses and win every single race. Try to do my best and try to perform the best out of the horses. And long-term goal for sure, hopefully can ride some international Group 1 winners in Hong Kong, or represent Hong Kong to ride in other countries as well. I think it's just what my ex-boss said to me in day one when I start working for him, is to put 200% effort in it, in my work, in my career, and don't give up. Yeah.
There you go. There was Vincent Ho. Graham Cunningham still me. And Graham, if you hadn't picked up from that short interview with Vincent, you might not realise he's quite an understated sort of gent, isn't he?
He's measured and he's calm, but he's still on the rise. I'd make 3 or 4 points about Vincent. First, as we can see, he's got perhaps the biggest smile in Hong Kong racing. Secondly, last weekend at Sha Tin, we know he's a keen boxer. 8, 9, 10 year out with Rise High, Golden 60, Precious Ship, great treble to finish off. I also think that of all the top jockeys in Hong Kong at the moment, he's perhaps the one who the market still underestimates to a certain extent. And most of all, riders go through phases, cycles in their career. As we know, he's got on plenty of good horses. Keeping those mounts is the thing in Hong Kong. And days like last Sunday take him one step closer to being the guy who gets the good horse early and then keeps it for the major prizes. Yeah, and he's not going to get jocked off Golden 60. They're not looking elsewhere. They've got their jockey, Rise High, Casper Founds. He paid tribute to Casper as part of that. He's a jockey you go to now on a big day. He's not a backup jockey. Yeah, he's building. I've said it before. He's slowly and very precisely building his brand. And it's impressive to see still a young Hong Kong jockey who's still slowly but surely making his way up the ladder. Top 5 place looks very likely again this season. IJC place perhaps. And most of all, with the likes of Rise High, maybe an HKIR success on the board. Yeah. And he's out of action this weekend, Vincent. As I understand it, though, he's in America with Monty Roberts, not letting the grass grow under his feet. All right, Vincent Ho. We'll look ahead now to the weekend, though, with the preview.
All right, it's a dirt programme for us at Sha Tin on Sunday. The first time in 13 years, in actual fact, we've had a day dirt meeting. 9 races. This is the feature, race number 4, a Class 2 1650 handicap, headed by Elusive State, who's a 5-time course and distance winner. More than lucky, he's a 5-time winner himself, makes his all-weather debut. One of 3 in the race for Frankie Law, including Turian Red Star and Glorious Artist, the record holder over the 1800-metre circuit. Glory's got speed, Buddies has got speed as well. A last start winner in Richmond makes his all-weather debut for John Size, and Noble Steed. Well, his 3 wins have come on the turf. They've been over 1,400 metres. So we'll try and break this race down for you. And Graham, Elusive State, we had entries for Dubai last season. Tony Miller did a fantastic job with him, getting him through the ratings. Dubai didn't happen, but he's dual entered for HKIR, of course, that being on the turf, in the mile and the cup. He obviously thinks he's got a nice horse on his hands. This is Elusive State and Raging Blitzkrieg over 1,200 metres. They both get up to the extended mile here.
Yeah, you did right, Andrew, to touch on the Millard factor. This is a different horse in many ways since he joined Tony. He's about 80 pounds heavier in body weight for a start. He's gone up 40-something pounds in the handicap, and this was a terrific reappearance. It was only 1,200 metres, not really enough for Elusive State to get warm, but look at him powering home behind Big Time Baby, who's franked the form. 1650 metres, dirt track, inside draw is perfect for him. Those are the conditions he has this weekend.
All right, so that's Elusive State. We can actually have a look at some of the other rivals here at track work. Raging Blitzkrieg is the first one that we can concentrate on. The other horses that join him on this occasion are Buddies. We'll see him in race action in a minute. And Glorious Artist. We haven't seen him on the racetrack since his trip to Korea in September.
They all shape pretty nicely in this trial. Raging Blitzkrieg's been a frustrating horse, but he ran well on turf last time. This was a good trial from him. He finishes ahead of the freewheeling Buddies, potential front runner this weekend. More of him in a moment. And Glorious Artist, not knocked about, shapes nicely. He ran really well on the all-weather last season and very bravely on that deep sand surface in Korea last time.
All right, so we've got a Buddies still to have a look at, but before we do that, Glorious Artist is trained by Frankie Law. And he's just had an incredible time on the all-weather. We're going back to the start of last season, from 2018 onwards. Those are pretty telling.
Yeah, so it's not a small sample size anymore. It's a good sample size, and Frankie's strike rate on the all-weather is pretty much double his strike rate on turf. That tells you he has a very, very happy knack. Ask him what the secret is. The big booming laugh comes out. He's trained by John Size. He's not giving any state secrets away, but the data is there. Frankie Law on the all-weather is a potent combination.
All right, it would seem that Glorious Artist would be the number 1 string, but more than lucky, at his very best would be here, as would Turian Red Star. But what about Buddies? Now, his form figures on the all-weather course and distance, he's 3 from 4. So have we seen the best of him? Is he still improving, or is he on his mark, do we think?
He may just be on his mark now. What we know is he's very quick from the gate. He handles this dirt surface extremely well, and he's progressed and progressed and progressed. But Zach Purton is aboard Glorious Artist instead of Buddies this weekend. Buddies is up from Class 3, from Class 2, and perhaps most worryingly, from a higher mark, he's got plenty of heat towards the lead. Turian Red Star can go forward. Circuit Glory definitely can. Raging Blitzkrieg can go forward. What I'm trying to say in short is, for Buddies to win this weekend, he needs a clear career best.
Yeah, he was carrying 133 pounds last time. He gets 121, so that might be some sort of advantage, but it is obviously a stronger grade as well. So breaking it all down, it's a very good race. Good feature one to have on the weekend. Where's the money going, though?
Elusive State. There's one factor I didn't mention before. I think the trip is right. I think the surface is right. The inside draw is good. But it looks very much, Andrew, as if Elusive State and Joe Moreira will get a real, true gallop to run at. Everything is in place for a real big one for Elusive State.
All right, and Joe has had, coming into the meeting, 8 rides for Tony Millard as well. He's won on 3 of them. He's been second on the other 3 as well. So that's a pretty telling stats in itself. Right, looking ahead, not only to this weekend, but further ahead as well with the racing diary. 11:45 for we kick off, 12:15 for the first, back at Happy Valley Wednesday night, and then it's Sasa Ladies Purse Day next Sunday. Ladies Day, we had Gentleman's Bow Tie last weekend. Sasa Ladies Purse, looking forward to that. And just by way of interest, Graham, say 13 years since we had the last day dirt meeting. It's before the advent of the Happy Valley Day meetings. They became popular. So it was the same thing. It was the tracks getting reseeded, needed to Sha Tin a break, and that's what they did. They ran a meeting on the dirt instead.
And the bonus is we get to party at Happy Valley again next week.
We certainly do. Ladies' purse very quickly. We'll see a lot of stars have been out in force at the trials this week, and a few of them have been returning for Ladies' Purse Day, including the big one.
Well, this time last year we were looking forward to the Battle of the Brothers, Time Warp and Glorious Forever in the Ladies' Purse. Time Warp came out best. This time, Time Warp, Glorious Forever and the rest have a certain horse called Exultant to contend with.
Yeah, and he'll be hoping to defend his crown in the Vase on International Day, of course. Graham, great to have you on again today, and say look forward to the action this weekend and beyond.
And don't forget, a certain Almadai is on deck in a simulcast race for the 10-0 show on Sunday.
And hopefully we'll be welcoming her to Hong Kong in December as well. But that's the show. Thanks for watching. We're going to leave you this week then with Ladies' Purse just around the corner. Last year's running, Exultant will be back again, but it was Time Warp this time. We carried off the prize for Zach Burton and Tony Cruz. Hopefully we can count on your company again on Sunday. We'll bring all the action from Hong Kong direct to you.
Pakistan Star a little keen in the early stages. He won't drop his head. Prawn Barbar is a length away. Then Denozo from Gold Mount as Pakistan Star is losing some ground. Exultant's going to settle second last, and Eagle Way is at the tail end of the field. So Time Warp, it's big brother in front of little brother Glorious Forever, who's happy to sit outside of him in second. A half away to Horse of Fortune, who's in third position. The pace is not fast at all. Denozo's 3 deep on the outside of Prawn Barbar. Then Gold Mount settling on the inside of Pakistan Star, who's never really looked comfortable in the run. A length and a half to Eagle Way inside of Exultant. They leave the 1,000 metres astern, and Time Warp striding fluently. He looks in the real comfort zone today. He's a length on Glorious Forever, who's leaving him alone. Denozo 3 deep. Horse of Fortune back of the speed. Prawn Barbar's feeling the pinch already. Pakistan Star, he's going to emerge wide as they run up towards the home corner. From Goldland, Eagle Way and Exultant, Time Warp has been left alone, and as they come to the 500 metres, he's a half on Glorious Forever, who's breathing down his neck. Denozo, Horse of Fortune, Pakistan Star to the middle, then Goldland, Prawn Barbar, Eagle Way and Exultant. Glorious Forever trying to reel in big brother Time Warp, who's got a kick today. Time Warp a half on Glorious Forever. He hasn't thrown in the towel yet. He's still coming hard. 2 or 3 back to Exultant, and then Pakistan Star. Time Warp still a half on Glorious Forever. Exultant and Eagle Way. Time Warp still in front. He'll go all the way, Time Warp, and defeat Glorious Forever a neck.